Welcome to your Driving Force Success Tips. I'm Rod Khleif, and I'm thrilled you're here. This is where I share with you the most valuable things I've learned about the psychology of success. 80% of your success in anything is your psychology, and only 20% is the actual mechanics. These weekly success tips, combined with my interviews with real estate experts, are designed to provide you with all the tools you need to be a success in real estate and build your own cash flow machine. If you like what you hear on these segments, please subscribe to us on iTunes. I want to tell you guys my new website is finally up. It's rodkhleif.com. That's RODKHLEIF.com. And I've got a ton of videos on there that I know you'll enjoy. And if you haven't got my book yet, it's titled How to Create Lifetime Cash Flow Through Multifamily Properties. There's a direct download for the book on my website. You know, at some point, I'm going to be putting it on Amazon and charging for it, but you can get it for free right now via my website. Again, that's rodkhleif.com, KHLEIF.com. All right, let's get to it. Today, I'm going to talk about the power of saying no. Steve Jobs from Apple was quoted as saying, "It's only by saying no that you can concentrate on the things that are really important." When we're 2 years old, of course, we have no problem saying no. But as we grow up in today's society, we're actually programmed to say yes through marketing and in many cases our upbringing and our culture. And because of that, many people have a problem saying no. You know, saying no is uncomfortable and awkward to many people. But the problem is, the more afraid of saying no we become, the harder it gets. Some people are afraid of conflict, particularly in their close relationships, so they say yes when they really should say no. Now, we've all said yes when our gut has been screaming to say no. Many people are afraid to disappoint others, or they're pleasers, or they're afraid of rejection and say yes when they absolutely should say no. And many times they say yes frequently when they should say no, and sometimes it's because they just can't think of a reason to say no. Now, what they don't realize is you don't need a reason. Saying yes when you should have said no can, frankly, make you crazy later on. You can become angry at yourself or at the person that made the request, but regardless, you're unhappy. Dr. Brené Brown was quoted as saying, "Choose discomfort over resentment." Now, many people feel they need to substantiate or explain themselves when they say no, and it's completely unnecessary. No is a complete sentence and doesn't require any justification or explanation. The author Stephen Covey was quoted as saying, "You have to decide what your highest priorities are and have the courage, pleasantly, smilingly, and non-apologetic to say no to other things." And the way to do that is have a bigger yes burning inside of you. When you say yes when you really should say no, you're damaging your most important relationship, and that's the one with yourself. You don't have to lie. You don't have to make excuses. You don't have to explain yourself. You just simply decline. For an entrepreneur like myself, saying no sometimes is very difficult. I like to call it the shiny penny syndrome, because anytime I hear about something exciting business-wise, it can be irresistible to me. Entrepreneurs like myself have a fear of missing out on an opportunity. But believe it or not, saying no is actually more powerful than saying yes. And to be a success, you'll have to say no to a lot of good things so that you're able to say yes to great things. You have to give yourself the time to be able to do the things you love. And if you say yes too often, that won't happen. When you have the ability to say no more regularly, when you do say yes, it's much more powerful. Sometimes saying no is critical because the yes could mean you go up against your morals or your values, and you never want to give up your integrity by saying yes when you shouldn't. Sometimes the person you have to say no to is actually yourself. Particularly on your quest for success, you'll have to say no to the distractions. Of course, you also want to say no to toxic relationships, to friendships that pull you down and don't lift you up, to the foods that you know are sapping your energy and slowing down your path to success. Well, maybe you've heard me talk about how I take free 30-minute phone calls from you guys over the last several months, and I've taken hundreds of these calls from you guys, and I absolutely love them. But regretfully, I no longer have the bandwidth to do them. Unless one of you has an emergency or something really urgent, I have to say no because all the things that are on my plate right now. Don't confuse no with negativity. Sometimes saying, "I'll think about it first," can be very powerful because it allows the other person to feel as if you're really weighing the decision and they feel heard, which softens the ultimate no. But that said, whenever you can, say no quickly. That respects the other person's time. You can also soften a no by complimenting the person on the idea or the thought and then just saying, "I don't have the time," or "I'm not comfortable with that right now," which is warmer than just saying no. Maybe something like, "That's a great idea, but I just won't be able to." Sometimes you can offer them an alternative, maybe someone else that can do what they need. I do that a lot. Sometimes if it's something you may want to do later, then you communicate that. When you say no more often, you actually regain control of your life. You get that power back. Tony Blair, the former Prime Minister of Britain, said, "The art of leadership is saying no, not saying yes. It's very easy to say yes. You have to set boundaries. Boundaries are healthy, and you have to respect and care about the value of your time and your bandwidth. So give yourself permission to say no. It's also not a bad idea to ask yourself some questions when you have to make a decision about something. Ask yourself, do I really want this thing? Does this forward me on my mission or my goals? Is there something else I could be doing with my time that I'd enjoy more or would get me closer to my goals and my dreams? Ask those questions. When you start designing your life, you look at things through a lifestyle filter. You ask yourself, how can you design your life to be rewarding on multiple levels? When you do that, you'll regularly realize that you have to say no. So find your power. Live your mission and your goals. Set your boundaries so that you're working and doing what you enjoy, and don't be afraid to say no. I'm Rod Khleif, wishing you incredible passion and massive success in your business and in your life.